Well, gang, stick a fork in him. Brandon appears done. Only 28% of likely voters now believe Biden will be reelected. In this video, we're going to take a look at the latest poll disaster for Biden. We're going to compare it to the surging polls for President Trump. And stick me to the very end of this video when we'll see how more and more Democrats are coming out and openly saying to Biden, you know, it's time to go to the nursing home. You're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Great to be with you. As always, I'm your daily fake news antidote. As each and every day, I provide patriotic analysis to help you to think better so you can feel better in these crazy and turbulent times. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Before we begin, gang, as many of you know, we have recently launched a brand new initiative called Change America. It enables ordinary patriots to do extraordinary things. It's an awesome program that makes it possible for anyone and everyone to help unseat rhinos just by simply doing your daily grocery shopping. You can back America First candidacies by simply going out to eat. And if you join our Change America campaign right now, you're going to get free complimentary tickets to our upcoming Patriot Live event on January 14th and 15th. It's awesome. So make sure to click on that link below right now to sign up or learn more about our Change America initiative. You're going to absolutely love it. All right, gang, so let's dive right in here. Well, I mean, it looks like we could close the curtains. The fat lady is sung. The show's over. Whatever euphemism you want to choose, it really does appear to be at least unofficially over for the Brandon regime. Rasmussen, one of the more accurate pollsters out there, has a new poll out. It was a poll that surveyed 1,000 likely voters, and the results are about as, well, devastating as they can get for any sitting president. Right now, as we speak, according to Rasmussen, only 28% of likely voters, people who have voted in the last several elections and who plan to be voting again in the next one, only 28% of voters believe that Biden will be reelected. I mean, that's it. Show's over. 28% is about as low as you can go here and still be in office, which we'll get to in a moment. Now, the same poll also found that less than 30% believe that Biden will resign, though Rasmussen has data from a few months back that found that the majority of voters want him to. This was shortly after the Afghanistan fiasco. According to a Rasmussen poll a few months back, 52% of likely voters wanted Biden to resign. But here we could see now a few months later, we're seeing that few voters believe he's actually going to do that. So it appears that they'll do it for him, either during the primaries in 2024, where Biden will no doubt get challenged, again, more on that later, or in the general election. Either way, when over 70% of the likely voting population doesn't think you stand a chance of winning re-election, 70%, gang, it's unofficially over. And that appears to be the case here for Brandon. Now, this Rasmussen poll that just came out is really just, frankly, it's just salt on the wound here, because Brandon was greeted with another poll earlier that found that his approval rating has sunk to a whole new low. A Civics poll that just came out found that Biden's approval rating is now down to 35%. His disapproval is a horrific 56%, with 9% saying they had no opinion either way. You gotta wonder what rock these people are living under. But regardless, this is the latest poll showing Biden stuck in the 30s, according to the latest from Trafalgar, which is historically one of the more accurate polling firms. Biden has an embarrassing 36% approval with a 60% disapproval. The latest Suffolk University USA Today poll has Biden's approval rating at 38%. The latest Quinnipiac poll has Biden at 37% approval, and the latest Zogby has him at 36%. So as you can see, this latest from Civics is the lowest we've seen thus far, now at 35%. But it's certainly corroborated by these other polls showing Biden is just stuck in the 30s. And to make it even worse, Dick Morris was mentioning that Biden is above water. That is, his approval rating is higher than his disapproval in only 3 states: Massachusetts, Vermont, and Hawaii. In every other single state, even California, Biden's disapproval outweighs his approval. He's underwater in 47 of 50 states. I mean, this is literally unprecedented. This is why I find headlines like this one from Forbes, how Biden is underwater in every battleground state. I mean, This article so misses how bad things are for Biden. He's not just underwater in every single battleground state. He's underwater in every single state in the union save 3. I mean, that should be the headline. However you look at it, he's in political quicksand. I mean, this guy is stuck, and he's been stuck there more or less since August, since the fallout in Kabul, the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. Ever since, it was like the scales fell from the eyes of the supermajority of the electorate, and they just recognized what an incompetent shell of a man was occupying the White House. And he just simply hasn't recovered from that. It's only gotten worse. And so this is causing Democrats and leftists to panic. They are indeed recognizing that Biden's implosion really does mean their own implosion, with the midterms coming up especially. They're poised to lose the House. They're poised to lose the Senate. And so with all of that, you get polls like this one. This is the latest from TIPP. They found that only 22% of respondents said they wanted Biden to run again, but that included only 37% of Democrats who wanted to see Biden on the ticket. 2/3 of Democrats want Biden to be one and done. Now, just to put that in context, look at this. Contrast that lack of support among Democrats with the massive support that Trump is getting from Republicans. Now, right now, Trump leads the field of potential Republican presidential contenders by an astonishing 58 points. He comes in with 67% support, 58 points higher than his closest challenger, which is Mike Pence, coming in at 9%. I mean, you've got 2/3 of Democrats who don't want Biden, and you've got 2/3 of Republicans who very much want Trump. I mean, what does that say to you? I mean, again, these are two fundamentally opposite parties. One is as weak and wobbly and anemic as its leader, whereas the other is as energetic and pumped and inspired as its leader. And so in the name of avoiding an electoral catastrophe, liberals are coming out and openly urging Biden not to run. For example, Bret Stephens over at the New York Times, he's openly calling for Biden to announce that he's not going to seek the nomination in 2024. I mean, it's a very brazen piece that went so far as to openly question Biden's cognitive health, and that everyone is noticing it, as his imploding poll numbers so amply demonstrate. And so the only way out for the Democrats is for Biden to make it official that he's just a transition figure who successfully rescued the country from Trump, and he's now ready to hand it over to more competent and idealistic Democrats. Now, the argument, of course, is that were Biden to announce that he's not running for re-election, he would immediately turn into a lame duck. But Bret Stephens points out, I think rather interestingly, that right now Biden is even worse than a lame duck. At least if he announced he wasn't running again, that would potentially ignite the candidacies of other Democrats who could inspire voters once again. Now, obviously, I think Stephens is whistling past the graveyard here. I think the Democrats have gotten so radical. I think they've gotten so over the top in their open borders and defunding the police and CRT and ridiculous mandates and this unprecedented inflation and horrific job reports coming out. I think there's no way voters are going to give the Democrats the time of day, even if Biden were to announce that he's one and done. So I think Stephens is a bit in denial here. I don't think he recognizes just how far gone right now the Democrats are in terms of viable political prospects. Of course, we'll have to see on that, but it does look like Biden's political demise is symbolic of the wider Democrats' political demise. With only 28% thinking Biden will win re-election, that certainly spells doom for the Democrats in the midterms. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video on our funniest woke fails ever. It's going to absolutely make your weekend. I think it's our best one yet. So make sure to click on the link, and I'll see you over there. God bless.